Pink doing beautiful trauma right here on Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there is doing great. Love that video. It's just a great video. Channing Tatum's in it, right? And Pink, and then some other lady at the very end. But anyways, that all being said, great video. Just kind of about a disturbed topic, but it's a great freaking video. Anyway, yeah, clarity on us pushed out. So mental diet. One of the key things that's been kind of pointed out, certainly in some of Neville's writings, right? A lot of us have kind of read some of this. And when it gets to us pushed out, there's only like a few places I've been able to find it thus far. Now, I'm not saying I'm the almighty when it comes to Neville. By no means am I. But there's not a lot of places. And the few places I found definitely seem to be kind of wrapped into how we're thinking, what we're creating, and, you know, kind of the divine creator aspect of us. And even in the pruning story, why it's a good idea to prune our thoughts. Now, some people kind of take this us pushed out to a very literal sense. Like, this individual is literally me. Like, they're literally me. Like, they are completely non-control of their own body. Like, they are literally like, I have my hand up inside of them, and I'm making them ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. I don't think it plays out quite like that. First off, I think we're all co-creating. I believe the world would be kind of weird if it was seriously only just me here creating a whole bunch of me's to hang out and play with my me. Now, I know to a degree that's supposedly kind of what God did, but that was also meant from the standpoint, at least from what I've heard, so he could experience himself in absence of himself. Like, you know, if you're a finger, there's no way you can not be part of the body, but you're not necessarily the head or the ear or the, right? You know what it's like to be individuated as a finger. So some would say there's that aspect of life, right? So maybe we are all one, and maybe from that standpoint, then yes. And in which case, if that's truly the truth and where you're at in your belief structure, I'm just going to say then literally everything is you. And if everything is you, then all it really requires is for you to say, this is what I would like, because it's truly you. Now, I think we're co-creating. I think that's part of it. So it is that sort of simplistically, but I think there's a little more to it. So how I see it kind of playing out, how I've seen it with others. Some of the ways I've been actually in the middle of situations where somebody was creating drama or turmoil when there was none. Like, and I was just a kind of a bystander. It wasn't like I was trying to be involved, but I was seeing it, and I was friends with both people, and I spent enough time with them both to really kind of get a good feel for who they were, what their conversations were on, right? Like all that. Like, I had a pretty good feel for it. Now, this is by no means like everybody's like this, just because I've experienced a few people this way. But I've seen the experience a lot of times, right? And asked questions. But, so for an example, say you're nervous that your boyfriend or girlfriend's cheating on you, right? This is an insecurity that we feel inside of ourselves. Maybe it's a self-worth thing, right? Affirmations can always help, right? We can look inward and say, why is it that I'm so nervous about him cheating? Is it because I've been cheated on before in the past? Maybe something that's worth some forgiveness, not only of yourself, but of the individual. You can search for astral letters on my channel. It's got a great technique for how to get rid of stuff like that, right? But whatever the case is, you're nervous for some reason about him cheating. I'm not saying you are, but this scenario where someone is nervous about their person cheating on them. So because that, you've already got this thought process that's now activated inside of you. I'm just going to try to play it out a little bit, right? So now I've got this this kind of active inside of me. So now I'm a little nervous about things, and the universe works very well to give me what I'd like because it's us pushed out, they say, right? And so this is where I think it plays out in this standpoint. So I'm going to use my examples, but not the standard terminology of the way people use it, very black and white like. So I am creating a world now where I'm nervous that my boyfriend's cheating on me. I get an inspired action to look on social media, something I shouldn't do anyway. I know that, but I get an inspired action to do it. So I hop onto the social media and I see a picture with him and this friend. Now, they could legitimately just be friends. They really could truly be just friends. But I've got this thing activated. It's now been preemptively triggered because my higher self's like, all right, I'm going to help you get what you want, right? Your universe is basically saying, hey, look over here. Here's what you want. This is what you're talking about. So I look and boom, there it is on social media. Now I'm getting this my mind starts racing even further. Oh, he's totally cheating on me. I bet he's known her for years. I bet he lied to me about everything, right? And we spin everything out of control. In some cases, oftentimes, they aren't necessarily doing anything wrong. What we're afraid of, what's going on inside of us, what we're believing, we project out like movie projectors, that click, 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 like on the olden days when there's the reel, right? And the little light shining through, right? And on the screen is what is everyone else, right? Is us reflected back on ourselves. So all of my insecurities, I'm onto my boyfriend right now. So I'm dialed into him. And then social media is like, ooh, check his social media. There it is. I knew it. There's my proof. He's never been honest with me. He's lying to me. He told me he didn't even know her. What the hell's her name? How do you even pronounce that? Right? We start spinning it out of control. Doesn't mean it's right. Doesn't mean it's accurate. Doesn't mean it's you personally. No. You're projecting, in a lot of cases, onto people. Now, if this behavior happens long enough where the person's maybe not doing anything wrong, maybe they're being perfectly okay, perfect gentleman, perfect lady, right? Doing nothing of the sort of any sort of incorrectness or bad. And then all of a sudden, this continues, this incessant jealousy, maybe some questioning that seems to happen that comes with it because you don't necessarily trust them because you think they're doing something. You just know they are. What can happen in those cases is that energy, you can start to drive them to that behavior. Now, all of a sudden, you can manifest a third party that's going to come in because you've asked for this. Because your fears and insecurities are so rampant that you've now created this environment. That's the you pushed out. None of these people are you. They're being their own selves, having their own existence. It's kind of what makes us so awesome. They're having their own existence, but playing a perfect role in our play, our act, our theater. What was it, Shakespeare that said the world is a stage and we are all merely players, or whatever his fancy thing was? It's basically true. We're all just actors in other people's plays, and they're actors in our plays, and we're all interacting together and having a good time at it. So when we can start to realize that things that are happening to us that we're experiencing outside of ourselves are our perceptions in a lot of cases, or what we've been focusing on. We keep seeing a lot of injustice of some kind. Well, we keep focusing on that injustice. I'm sure that's probably happening more than you might want to admit. Maybe you watch the news on a regular basis, and now all of a sudden you're aware of all these different things that you normally wouldn't be. Maybe you've started reading a certain periodical that tends to be very nature focused, right? And so maybe you've just been noticing trees everywhere. It's where's our focus at? We see more of it. And it can be of beautiful, wonderful things, or positive things, or good things, or things that are interesting, things I need to get accomplished before the day's out, right? Or it could be of am I not good enough for her? Or are they attracted to somebody else? Oh my God, I hope that's not the case, right? Where is your focus? Are you nervous about losing a job? Same kind of thing. You can have those situations where you start worrying about something. Oh my God, I don't know, man, I'm probably not going to keep this job. It's so great, blah, blah, right? And then whatever. And then now eventually you start making mistakes, right? And then eventually maybe you get in an argument with someone at work. And then eventually maybe your boss might ask you to do something that sucks, like it's the sucky job. But maybe in his mind, like he has a cycle, there's 12 of you, right? He finally got to your name. You've just never really noticed he had a cycle. Right? But you're seeing it like, well, he's making me do the crappy job. Maybe he's mad at me. Maybe I need to talk to him. Maybe oh, dang, I'm really angry. I've been working here long enough. Right? And then you go and approach him angry. So now all of a sudden, now you're like a hostile person. And he's like, wow, where'd all this come from? You're just being a jerk. You're a jerk off. F you. Bah. And they run out the door. And you're like, I don't know what just happened. Now, again, that's an extreme case, but a lot of us know how we spin down that road. It's not necessarily the reality that is happening. It's what our focus has been. We're seeing more of. It's us pushed out. It is us, again, the pruning of the thoughts. If we realize the power of our thoughts and our focus, if people realized that 100% of your focus, 100% of the time creates your reality 100% of the time. I mean your reality, not the reality of the world on a larger purpose. The world on a larger purpose is the combination of many people's realities. I'm talking your reality. What's your experience day to day? What happens to you when you hop in the car and drop your kids off at soccer practice or whatever? What is your day like? That's your reality. Things can be on the news and going on in parts of the world, and okay, but not really, unless you live in those parts of the world, then that's your reality, right? That your reality is your reality. So long story short, the end result is what we create. Now, whether there's multiple realities, that's very possible, right? There is this possibility. I've certainly talked about it and thought about it a lot of times. Don't know for sure, but from the standpoint of what we consciously experience, which is the reality that, well, you and I have to face right now. From that standpoint, what are we creating? What are we experiencing? What's happening? Let's notice what's going on around us, what's happening inside us, what's happening to the way we're treating other people, the way that things keep repeating, any patterns. Because the us pushed out is the fact that we're thinking, creating these thoughts, these beliefs, these limitations maybe in some cases that might be keeping us from something amazing that's just literally around the corner, like waiting for you to finally do something different. You've been doing the same thing. The definition of insanity, right? Repeating the same thing over and over with the hopes of a different outcome. Kind of true in this point, right? Kind of sort of apropos. If it really is, well, yeah. Oh, yeah, and the other side of this always. The whole other concept of other people's realities and them being us and all that. The other part of it, and I said there's two at the beginning, if you stay with me this long, is the fact that they have their own free will. We all have our own free will. So obviously, I can't force them to behave a certain way, but they can agree to maybe say things or do certain activities or possibly body language in such a way, not intentionally, but will be played incorrectly. But right, like things that happen in amazing ways sometimes. And when you get to the bottom of what was really going on with the person you were angry with, a lot of times you'll find out there was nothing there at all, right? So sometimes we just blow things out of proportion because that's where we're at. That's where our mind's at. That's what me pushing out, right? That's what it is. It's not any more or less real. It's a projector. And people and things and situations kind of show that back to us. So if we want to fix things, I always say, if you want to fix things on the outside, you change what's going on the inside. Everyone says it. I don't know. There's a big group of people. They meet every Tuesday, probably in your local area. It's at 4:17 p.m. local time. Yeah, we meet. So I just wanted to let you know. That's where it's at. That all being said, a little bit of clarity on this us pushed out thing. It's a cool topic and I really like it conceptually, but I think it's really hit kind of really black and white sometimes. It's like, I think that's a little strict. I don't know. It's just where I'm at with it. It's not the first time I said something crazy in my life. That's full show. Going out with a great song by Savage Garden. This song's called Hold Me. It's right here on Dan Radio.